Hello and welcome back to another video on the PlayStation version of TERA. Now before I get started, I just want to mention that this is a beta stress test and not an early access game in beta, so there will be crashes, there will be times when you can't log in, there'll be bugs, and there'll be things which don't work. But if that does happen to you, make sure you report it to En Masse on their forums or wherever, so they can get around to fixing it for the next build. And of course, everything you're seeing in this video is recorded directly from the original PlayStation 4, so it is stuck at a 720p 30 frames per second quality. I am sorry for that, but that'll just have to do. So not much has changed since the previous console version, but a lot more problems have arisen since it's an open beta and due to the sheer number of players on the server at this current time. So let's start with the good things, shall we? So the frame rate is a lot better than it was before. So the frame rate is generally sticking to 60 when you're out and about in quiet areas. There's a few dips here and there, but there's no more hitching, no more little lag spikes when there's no one around, so it's generally a lot smoother than it was. There's no more little lag spikes when you're loading into a new area with new mobs. It's all a smooth transition. Physics on the clothes have been fixed, so the high elves and a lot of other costumes generally work as they are intended, and they no longer clip straight through your legs. And something which is very surprising is load screens are a hell of a lot faster than they were. In fact, they're faster than what my computer can handle on the PC version, which is absolutely fantastic that they managed to do this. But let's move on to the bad things now. Like I said, it wasn't that many good things because majority of it is bug fixes and general improvements, which I can't generally cover because there was a lot of bugs in the previous version, but they've been fixed. But I don't need to go over them because that's kind of like obvious that they're going to fix them. So let's move on to the bad things. So starting with some problems from the previous build, we have of course screen tearing, which is still an eyesore. There's no VSync at all. They really should have some kind of VSync because it does help even if you're dropping below 60 to stop those screen tearing. And I think they should implement some kind of 30 frames per second lock, especially in some of the more intense scenarios, which can make the gameplay a lot more better. And it feels a lot better when there's no screen tearing, because it is generally quite bad when it does happen. So there's still a lack of grass everywhere. I doubt that's ever going to be fixed due to performance problems, but it's still a little bit of an eyesore when you see massive green flat textures and no grass to break it up. That is generally quite bad, but I mean, it's fine. And the pop-in, of course, is still there. It does seem a little bit worse than it was before on certain items, and it does seem a lot better on some things. But it's still there and it's kind of annoying, especially when you're riding on a Pegasus, just to see things popping in and out as you're going past them. But now let's move on to the new problems from the open beta, which is generally due to the sheer number of players. It's incredible the number of players on there. I've never seen that many players in one area in TERA before. But let's start with the first problem I encountered, which was crashing upon entering Valkia. So when you're on your Pegasus leaving the tutorial area and you first arrive in Valkia, the second you hop off it, the PlayStation 4 just gives up and crashes. It happens every single time and you can repeat it, and I think everyone else is affected by it as well. But it is a repeatable bug, so that's something to bear in mind. You just simply close the game and reopen it if you want to carry on with the game. I do believe this is due to the sheer number of players in that area, because it does seem the console has a very hard time loading in players and NPCs in small clustered areas, which brings me on to the sheer instability of Valkia at this current time. So due to the sheer number of players, their frame rate is all over the place, there is a lot of lag spikes, and the console does tend to crash a lot because it doesn't know what to do with players. So quite often you see the unloaded textured players running around, players with no names, and NPCs taking a very long time to load in. There are also some other problems, especially in the Believing in the Woods, which is the recording you can see in the background. Due to the sheer number of players, the frame rate is generally sticking very close to 30. I think it's hovering between 30 and 40. There are some lag spikes we drop down to say 15. I can definitely feel that because it's exactly how it behaves on PC with no players around. And there is quite a lot of crashing, especially in high density areas. So in the previous video you might notice there is a little cutout, like where that's like an area just missing. That's because the console did crash, because I was just trying to kill things and then I turned the camera to a massive horde of players and the PlayStation was just like, give up, I give up. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind with the open beta currently. It's not going to be a problem in the release version because there'll be other channels. This is a stress test, so absolutely everybody is being crammed into a single channel, and in the release version it'll be like the PC version, where if one channel starts to get crowded, you'll be put into channel 2 or channel 3, depending on how many are actually crowded or full. Well, there was also another bug which was very annoying. It wasn't game breaking really, but it was just very much a nuisance, where the PlayStation just doesn't seem to load any of the names for any NPCs, enemies, or other players. So I was running through this area where I was like, are these the NPC archers or are they player archers? Because I couldn't tell the difference because there's no name, and the low level armor looks like the NPC armor, and I was just confused. So I was just trying to avoid him in case I was kill stealing. Although kill stealing was kind of unavoidable in the beginning areas, because there's like a couple thousand players all trying to get the same mobs, and the mobs were taking quite a long time to respawn. But yeah, as for that, I think I've covered practically everything. I am going to continue on, and I'll come back if there's any other things that have arisen from it. But other than that, I'm very impressed with the performance, and I'm quite happy to play it on PlayStation over PC currently. So thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video on the console version of TERA some point soon. Bye bye.